Hello, farmers, and welcome to another fantastic episode of The Harvest Season. My name is Rochelle.
And my name is Al.
And we're here to talk about farming games.
Woo.
Woo.
The never-ending list of games where you farm.
Pretty sure by this point the listeners think this is just a Trio of Towns podcast.
Well, I mean, worry no longer. Except maybe just one more episode.
We're almost at the end. I feel your pain. Okay. Anyway, we'll get there.
Do you feel like there are more farming games now than there used to be? Or do you think they're just looking for more?
No, I feel like it's kind of a more popular genre than before.
Do you think that's to do with Stardew? Or do you think?
I don't know. What
I feel like
am
we could
I?
probably get a whole episode out of that, so let's not talk about that too much.
We'll cover it.
We'll talk about it.
We'll get there. We'll talk about it. Today, we're going to cover some feedback and then what we're playing and then do some news, everyone's favorite section, and then cover our Story of Seasons Trio of Towns challenge. Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about some feedback.
Yeah, feedback. We've got some lovely feedback. First of all, we got a lovely review from Anika Marie 2723. Obviously, the year of this person's birth.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for your review. It was very nice to hear your review. And yeah, we like reviews. Thank you very much.
You leave us more reviews.
We love reviews.
They make me happy.
If you give us a non-1-star review, you'll get a shout out on the podcast.
Should we give a shout out to people who leave us 1-star reviews, but just read their name backwards?
No.
No, you're not into that idea?
Just know we sit up all night crying when you send us mean feedback.
Oh, as if I need another reason to sit up all night crying. This has been Mental Health Truths with Rick Rochelle.
Anyway, speaking of mean feedback, we also got an email from Dan, friend of the podcast.
Dan's email wasn't mean.
No, I know.
Or are you thinking it's mean because Dan said, I don't know, Dan said that I beat you 10-1.
I don't think that's mean. I mean, I think that's
You're like,
fair.
That's just truth. Let's be real. No.
Yeah.
No.
Look, I don't do this podcast so I can hear my voice. I do this podcast so I can talk to Rochelle. And we just record it because maybe other people might want to listen to it as well.
I do this podcast because Al was like, do you want to do a farming game podcast with me? And I was like, yes, I would love to talk about farming games with my friend.
Cool. Anyway, email from Dan.
Like, oh, okay.
Look, I struggle with emotions. Anyway, thank you, Dan, for your email. Dan says that he plays Stardew, but he loves to hear our enthusiasm about other things. He does bring up that we maybe didn't cover Stardew as much as we could have, and that's very true. I was thinking about this a wee bit.
We're on a pendulum swing right now. Our first game we talked about barely at all. Our second game we talked about way too much. Eventually we will balance out. And I promise we'll go back to Stardew at some point.
We definitely will. Probably when the new update comes out, I think. We'll see how things go. We have a long list of things we want to cover. Some of them involve playing games, some of them involve not playing games, so it depends how much time we have, which ones we'll cover. We obviously, if lots of people want us to cover a particular thing and we are interested in it, we might bump that up the list. We'll see what happens, but we will definitely be covering Stardew again at some point in the future. I also we're not going to do an ASMR segment.
No, I could do the news ASMR.
I mean, you could, but I might just cut it from the podcast.
I can just whisper the entire time.
Okay.
I unfortunately don't have 2 microphones, so I can't do it binaurally, but no, not a good idea. Not into it.
Well, apparently whispering isn't very good for your voice.
No, it's not.
So, you probably shouldn't do it for very long. Also, you can't do quiet laughing. And You laugh a lot, Rochelle.
I'm sorry. I ruined it.
I hope nobody turned up the audio during that bit, because then I just spoke normally. Anyway.
This is a farming podcast, not an... I have this thing where I always want to say acronyms as words. So, like, I've always just, like, said ASMR, but then I realized people just say ASMR, and, like, ASM artist doesn't make sense if you say ASMRst. Like... Does anyone else have this problem?
Asthmatists.
Is it just me? Asthma's just...
It just sounds like you've forgotten how to talk.
I mean, that's pretty accurate.
Oh boy. Well, that was something.
Yep. And, Dan, if you want a nice overview of my escapades in sexism and gaming, actually, if you go on my Twitter and scroll really, really far back, I have a very long tweet series called something like, Why I Want People to Stop Telling Me That I Won't Like Monster Hunter. Detailing a lot of that. So maybe I'll try and find it and retweet it for you when this comes out.
We might put it in the show notes if either of us can be bothered finding it in, I don't know, the next, was it 2 days or something? We're recording this episode really late, so we don't have much
I'm sorry.
time. No.
I'm sorry. We'll get there.
Thank you, Dan, for your email. It means a lot.
Yes, I literally screamed with joy. Please send me more emails. I love them. You know what else I love? Knowing what Al's been playing.
I was wondering where you were going with that, because I saw your cursor in the Google Docs at the first news item, and I thought you were going to miss that section.
Like, you don't need to know what we've been playing.
Purely because you love hearing what I've been playing. I was mostly playing Trio of Towns, because obviously I left far too much of the challenge to the last minute. For a different reason than Rochelle. But we'll come to that later. A little tease for you for that section. I've been doing a little bit of Tetris. I don't think there's anything new I've been doing. Have I been doing anything? Yes, I have. I've been playing Ape Out, which, if you've not seen it before, is a fun kind of rhythmic game where you're an ape escaping from what I assume is a captivity environment, and you have to grab people and smash them against walls to get out. It's quite gruesome. I would not recommend playing it if you don't like seeing blood. It's an abstract art thing, but it's still very clear what it is that's being smashed against walls. So it's definitely an adult game. But it's good fun.
It's so intense.
It is crazy. It's got this weird kind of, I can't remember what it was called. It was some sort of blues music, but it's like not just blues, it's like specific, not blues, was it blues? No, jazz. Some sort of
a specific genre, subgenre of jazz. I can talk.
A specific subgenre of jazz, yes.
Genre of jazz.
Yes, that. So it's quite interesting. It's good fun to play. So I've been playing that on the Switch.
It's like if they played jazz music over an episode of Musical Death Chairs, basically.
I mean, I could probably answer that question if I knew what that was.
I'm sorry, Game of Thrones.
Oh, I mean,
I have been calling it Musical Death Chairs for years. I'm sorry, I can't not.
It's all right. I'm trying not to be one of those I don't watch Game of Thrones people, but I don't watch Game of Thrones.
Oh, I mean, that's fine. Let me explain to you. My level of care for Game of Thrones is approximately negative, but I watch it to give my BFF moral support, and I don't think they appreciate it anymore after this last season, where I'm just like, I really hope everybody dies. And they're like, no, but these characters... I'm like, no, I just really hope everybody dies. Like, I literally don't care. I appreciate that a lot of people enjoy it, and I'm glad they enjoy it, and I support them. That's why I watch it with my friend, even though it's really, really not my jam.
Yeah, we do not judge people for what they enjoy to watch and consume. I am glad that people enjoy it, but I considered reading the books at one point, and then I looked at the books and went, no, that's too much book. and I considered watching the TV show, and I looked and went, that's a lot of it, a TV show, and it's not even finished yet. So I struggle to get into TV shows that aren't kind of finished, especially when they're as story-driven as something like Game of Thrones. I've been bitten too many times. Yeah. I got into Lost during the first season and had to go through to the end, and really wished I hadn't. So yeah,
that's how a lot of people are feeling after yesterday's episode of Game of Thrones.
So I have heard some people think it's appropriate to shout at people on the internet,
which I think is anyway.
Don't be mean to Micah.
Yell at people. True story. First of all, don't be mean to Micah. He made our art, and he's also an amazing and wonderful human. Second of all, people get so... this is literally the reason why I don't get heavily invested in fandoms. Because people get so upset, and they get into such intense black and white thinking of either you had to love it or you had to hate it and think it's awful. Or people can have multiple very nuanced types of opinions, and you can not scream at each other about it. Anyway, this is not a Game of Thrones podcast.
Just like as we've discussed before, how you can like something while understanding that it is problematic. You can also like something while also understanding that it might not be good storytelling, or it might have some bits that you like and some bits that you don't like, because life is complicated.
Or it might be blatantly obvious that no women have been in the writer's room for more than half a decade. It's okay to acknowledge those things and still enjoy a thing.
If we don't watch anything that doesn't have any issues, then
we wouldn't watch anything.
Yeah. I'm sure there must be something.
No. I guarantee you there is not.
Oh, okay. There is nothing pure.
Even our poor podcast is problematic somehow.
Well, yeah, probably. Probably my fault. Speaking of that, what are you playing, Rochelle?
Okay, so I've been playing almost nothing but Trio of Towns. The only other thing I've been playing is Neko Atsume. I will get a picture of Conductor Whiskers if it's the last thing I do. I just want you to know that. And that's all I've been doing.
Cool.
Very exciting. Short and sweet.
Yeah.
No tangents.
We'll have more to talk about that later.
But not quite yet. Give me time. Let's talk about the news first.
The news.
Did you know that there's a Porsche update coming to consoles?
Tell me more.
Well, there's going to be more content and improved load times, and it is coming, quote, within weeks, unquote.
Within weeks? And that was said weeks ago. I mean, it was 2 weeks ago, but still. It was actually. No, it was more than that. This was posted on the 26th of April.
That was last month.
Which was more than 2 weeks ago. So hopefully, I suspect probably sometime at the end of the month or the beginning of next month.
Someday. We'll see. We'll keep you updated.
We will. So that's the immediate next update. They've also given us some information on future updates past that one.
I'm so incredibly excited to be able to read the text.
Yeah.
Which is the most important thing in all of this Porsche news, in my opinion.
The wording in this is fantastic. It's improvements to text size for better UI visibility. If Rochelle was writing it would probably be making the text a size that we can actually read it.
Yep.
And that's why she's not a PR person for my time at Portia.
I guess they're also working on bringing grass textures and voice acting for those people who are deeply emotionally invested in grass textures and voice acting.
And the thing is, the voice acting, obviously, some people really like voice acting, some people really dislike it. I can take it or leave it. It depends on how well it's done. I really liked the voice acting in Zelda, for example, except Zelda's voice, because the accent really killed me a little bit, but I really don't know why.
For a second there, I thought you were going to say because her voice was too high pitched. And I was going to be like,
no.
Al.
No. It was just because she was English and it just felt wrong. Anyway, I don't know what I don't know what I expected, but it's just, you know, when an accent comes out of someone's mouth and you're like, I did not expect that from you.
Mm-hmm. I feel that a lot with people's voices in general, like especially a lot of people who I like mostly talk to like online and stuff. And every time I'm like, I literally don't know what I expected. Yeah. Usually I didn't expect anything at all. But for some reason, I'm like, I wasn't expecting anything, but I know it wasn't this.
Yeah. But I know that the grass textures...
That's hard to say. Grass textures.
But I know that the grass textures are something that was kind of the most visible difference between the Switch version and the other versions. The PS4 version, I think, had the grass textures, but the Switch version didn't. And so as much as it doesn't really feel like a big thing, people moving from one to the other, some of them, I guess, felt like maybe that wasn't as great, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it definitely contributes to like a different feel to the environment. I guess it's just one of those things where it's like, it's not bad without them. Maybe I'm just too easy to please. Although, more important than grass textures, I want to know when they're going to put the walkway up to A&G construction, because that was completely missing, and that's what bothers me the most.
Well, I guess we'll have to see what comes in the content update.
We'll see.
We'll talk about it.
We'll let you know when it happens.
Speaking of things that we'll let you know when they happen, Forager have released a roadmap for their updates, which is exciting. It's not often you get such detailed information, and we've had quite a lot of detailed information from 2 games. So, my time at Portia,
so
and now
exciting.
Forager. I like it when they do this. You don't have to give us exact dates, because obviously exact dates you'll never hit. But vague ideas of what you're planning is always good. So they have 4 releases upcoming. One that is in May sometime. That's this month.
If you're listening when this podcast comes out, maybe they're listening far in the future. Maybe they're listening far in the future and it still hasn't come out and it just happens to be May and they're like, oh, maybe finally.
Okay, May 2019, which is the month that we're currently recording in and will be initially releasing in.
Ruined it. My poor joke.
They're adding weather. Yeah, they're adding weather. An improved options menu, new game modes, although they don't really talk about what that is. I guess we'll find out. And a number of quality of life changes. So that's coming out.
Which are my favorite types of changes.
They are great. Everybody loves an improved quality of life. Well, that's a good point, actually. It doesn't say improved quality of life changes. It just says quality of life changes.
Maybe they're changing it for the worst. Maybe they're like, we've been too nice to our players.
Next, coming in the summer of 2019, is the combat update, which will include new biome, hard mode for all of you who need to have impossible games to actually enjoy yourselves, new bosses and enemies, and improved combat difficulty. I'm not sure how that differs from hard mode, but I guess we'll
wonder
find
if that means more like proper balancing through things. Like monsters that maybe were too easy get bumped up a little bit, or vice versa, etc.
Yeah, that could be. Yeah. So not overall more difficult, but maybe specific parts of it more difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool. And then in the fall of 2019 is a mod update, which is exciting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we've talked much about mods on this podcast yet. We do have upcoming an episode about it. So so we like mods.
I love mods.
Although presumably the mods will only be on the Steam version of the game.
Yeah, but I mean, like, this looks more like mods built into the game because it's like...
Yes.
Custom items, custom biomes, custom structures.
It is possible they build it into the Switch version as well, but I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't, because it will be more difficult.
We'll have to wait and see.
We will. And the final one they've announced is the winter update, which they've said winter 2019/2020. So that'll probably be February next year. Is the multiplayer update. Woo!
Play with your friends.
If you have any.
Oh, Al, are we not going to play together?
Oh, I wasn't talking about us. I mean, of course. We are.
Of course, our listeners have friends. They're wonderful people.
Now, the ones that don't have friends are going to think that they're not wonderful people.
They are wonderful people, and I will be their friend. We're friends now. Thank you. Don't insult my friends, Al.
And finally, two small bits of information outside of them is that they do not, at this point, have release date for the Mac or the PS4 and Switch versions. That's all.
We'll tell you when they do.
Don't you worry. We will. Keep an eye on our Twitter, because every day I look through and retweet anything that's interesting. You might get that before the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of getting things before the podcast... no, that didn't really work. We've got some more information about the Stardew 1.4 update. Concerned Ape has said that one of the big things is a separate money option in multiplayer.
So that your friends don't go spending all of your hard-earned money on their own personal bag upgrade.
Who's spending all the money? It just went to 5. Why is there no money left?
It was Mark. It was 100% Mark. Sorry. Mark was like, last time I mentioned that, Mark was like, why did you call me out on your podcast? And I was like, why did you spend all our money? You get what you deserve.
So, yeah, you can either do that in a cooperative but we don't want to share money way, or you can also do it in a competitive way, because it seems to have some features about Concerned Ape has shared a screenshot with shows some sort of competitive nature of it. So it's showing one person has earned 1 million G on his own, which is obviously, I mean, I presume it's not very detailed, but it will probably have some sort of competitive aspect if you want it to.
Mm-hmm. Everything is a game if you try hard enough.
That is very true. There's also a new map called Four Corners, which Concerned Ape says is perfect for the new feature. So
new map,
exciting.
New map.
We love new maps, especially those of us that play on the Switch and therefore can't install the mods.
Give more maps. More maps.
More maps feels like the perfect thing to add as well, because they feel really easy to do.
And they can greatly impact your gameplay.
They can.
You know what other game you could play?
Yes.
That was at a C- at best.
It's probably the best we've had this episode.
So we've gotten some new Doraemon Story of Seasons info recently. There's a whole website you can go look at. It's got lots of neat, fun stuff. Hopefully you can read Japanese.
But if you can't read Japanese, the wonderful Cher over at Fogu has been translating it and posting it the weekly updates on Fogu.
Fogu, every Harvest Moon Story of Seasons player's favorite website. Cher has really, really good stuff. There's a whole bunch of like details about like town areas and characters and gadgets. Did you want to talk about the gadgets?
I do want to talk about the gadgets.
Talk about the gadgets.
I would love to. The gadgets look really exciting because, so there are 4 gadgets detailed on the website. The weather box, here we go with weather again, the weather box, which allows you to change the weather for the next day. I presume that will be quite a late game gadget. The mini rainstorm will automatically water your crops every morning, so think sprinklers from Stardew, for example. The stone cap will... I don't know what this one does. I don't understand the sentence.
I
The
don't
stone
know.
cap will make those passing by not notice that you're there. Oh, so it looks like an invisibility hat or something?
Yeah. I
So
guess
that's
you may need to
exciting.
avoid people.
That
I'm
is
so
exciting.
excited to play stealth mode on this game.
Yeah. And the pass-through hoop lets you travel through obstacles. So I don't think we've been given much information about what that means, but it sounds interesting as well.
I mean,
So
I've seen the Hoopa movie. I know how this works.
Pokemon come out the other side, yeah.
Yeah.
Pokemon in Story of Seasons confirmed.
Confirmed. Every time you use the ring, you have to go, Ale, Hoopa ring. And then eat a donut. It's great.
So the exciting thing for me about these gadgets is this is all the stuff that in talking about Story of Seasons Trio of Towns, this is all the sort of stuff that I really missed compared to playing Stardew Valley, the more automation aspects of it. So it looks like there's going to be quite a lot of automation stuff, which I am all for.
That's your favorite thing. I'm so excited for you to be so excited.
I am very excited to play this game.
That sounded mean. I'm sorry. That was not mean. I'm genuinely excited
That was not mean.
that there's parts that you're
I
excited
did
for.
not take it as mean at all.
I'm also very excited for this game.
It looks very exciting, and it's coming out in Japan very soon. Sadly, it's going to come out in the West a little bit later, but
Unfortunately, I don't think there's enough time for me to learn Japanese so I could cover it early for y'all.
one month is quite a short amount of time.
We'll get there someday.
If you want to read more about the information, as we will have the links to the Fogu updates, which are very detailed about the gadgets, the characters, and the town.
Just go make Fogu your homepage on your web browser like I do.
Or just put the RSS feed in your RSS feed reader like I do.
Okay, Mr. Fancy RSS feed person. That didn't work. I tried. I'm sorry. Actually, I did not. I clearly did not try hard enough.
It's all right. You're only just awake.
Yeah, I've not been awake for a long time. I'm doing my best.
Speaking of not being awake for a long time, we also have a date for the early access release of Littlewood, and that is on the 18th of June.
That's like a little more than a month away.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Obviously, that will only be the Steam version, not the Switch version.
Mm-hmm.
That's exciting.
I'm very excited for Littlewood.
So am I. It looks really
Looks
good.
like a good game. So excited to play it. We'll get there. We'll get there.
We will. That was a lot of news.
It was a lot of news. We didn't even talk for 10 minutes about Game of Thrones during it.
Success. A show that I don't watch and you don't care about.
Should have done a tangent and been like, then did you see the Detective Pikachu movie?
Oh, we need to be careful now, don't we?
All anyone needs to know is that there were Bulbasaur, and I literally cried with joy.
The Bulbasaur,
They were so good.
great.
They were so. They had the tiny little legs and the cute little butts and those big eyes and those little squishy ears
And the squeaking.
I love them. Anyway, this is not a Pokemon podcast. This has been your transition.
That should be our tagline.
Segue.
The harvest season, not a Pokemon podcast.
Perfect. So, do we want to talk about the reason why we're here?
I think we do. We've been teasing this a lot.
The amazing, the fantastic Trio of Towns Challenge. Woo.
Now, please excuse us before we start this if it does end up, because I don't think either of us have any idea how we're actually going to work this one.
I know exactly how this is going to work.
All right, never mind then.
Trust me.
Go for it then, Rochelle.
I'm a doctor. Okay, so I lied.
Shocking. Shall we recap the challenge first?
Yes. Challenge was very simple this go around. No long lists of arbitrary rules. Your goal was to start a new save on veteran mode, and by the end of year 1, have 3 items that you can enter into festivals in the game to bring to our own little tiny festival, right?
Yeah. And those could be any items that you could put in any of the festivals.
Correct. It could be crops, it can be food, it can be animals, it can be pets. I guess if you were really emotionally invested in the fashion show, it could be an outfit. I feel like that would be hard.
I think that would be really hard to judge if only one did that.
Just like,
I'm going to compare my Mario outfit or your Soybeans.
Mario outfit with an eye patch is what I wore to the fashion competition, just so you know. I won.
I think I've only ever done one fashion contest, and I think I wore Peach's outfit, and that was it.
I love Peach's outfit. It gives you a bonus to friendship when you talk to people.
Yeah. It's not really my style of clothes, though.
No, you're not into wearing large pink gowns?
Not massively.
That's fine. I'm not either, so I can't judge.
I mean, I won't judge anybody that would like to. More power to you, but it's not my sort of thing. To be fair, neither is the Mario outfit.
I was going to say, like, dude, people can wear whatever they want. I'm quite content with that. My personal style is just more along the lines of Amethyst from Steven Universe.
You know, I've not seen Steven Universe yet, but I do have it on my Netflix list. You're right there.
Steven Universe is my favorite show.
I have heard it's very good. Oh, I definitely will. But the problem is there's only one season on Netflix.
Oh, you want to watch on Netflix and not on 100% definitely legal websites on the internet.
Of course.
Okay.
Of course. Why would I not watch it anywhere other than completely legal websites?
So
that was a really confusing sentence.
Perfect. That's how it's meant to be. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about how we... should we first talk about like our items and do judging, or should we first talk about how we did and challenges we faced and etc.?
Let's do... Obviously, we don't want to talk about specifics about why we decided to do what we did, because I think we need to wait till after we've judged our items for that. But yes, you can talk about your background of this and what you can talk about what you want to talk about right now. I know what you want to talk about.
No, realistically, I guess we should do judging first.
I feel like that. I feel like your little story. Oh my goodness, could I sound more patronizing?
All right, we'll start with my little story. So I want to tell a story about this challenge.
Get your tissues ready, people. Ready. Get your tissues ready, people.
I knew what I wanted to do with this from the very start. And I went strong and I did so well. And then the weekend before we were supposed to record this podcast, I was like, I'm pretty much done with this challenge, but I still kind of want to farm. I guess I'll play my other file. And I did. And I saved over my challenge file.
Oh, Rochelle, how did you manage to do that?
I don't know. I am literally the worst. So I did that on Saturday. And then I was like, oh no. I need to do this again. So for 12 consecutive hours on Sunday, I tried to catch up. And then for most of my free time on Monday and Tuesday, I mostly caught up. And by Wednesday, that's not true. Yeah, it was by Wednesday because we ended up not recording on Tuesday.
We did. We normally record on Tuesdays, but that for some reason because I was being kind, obviously, we decided not to do that to allow Rochelle to finish the challenge.
And then it took me, I completed the entire thing. I hit the end of winter at like 3 a.m. on Wednesday. I would be fine if I never played this game ever again. I have played so much. Oh my gosh. It was so
You're missing
stressful.
out the best bit about that.
What?
Is that you finished on Wednesday when we were meant to record on Thursday, and then you slept through the recording.
You didn't have to tell them that.
You didn't even need to spend so much time at the beginning of last week doing it. You could have just done it at the end of the week.
Look, I didn't plan this, okay? I didn't exactly think all the way through. Like, I think I'll save over my save file and have to redo it.
Oh, dear. It wasn't, and I have to point out, it's not like Rochelle just slept through by like an hour or something. We normally record at 8:30 my time, and about 9:30 I was like, I'm just going to bed. And then I woke up in the morning and there was a message at, 1:30 or something like that.
I don't know.
5 hours after recording time. I'm sorry. It's just, it's so funny.
It's been a rough week. But I made it, and I brought some amazing things to this, our tiny little festival. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Do we want to do one each? And then, or do we want to just say, oh, I tell you what we could do. We could say what we have, but not what they are. And then we can figure out how we're going to do the judging based on what we have.
Okay. What do you have?
Well, my 3 things that I have are, I have a soybean, I have a cream croquette that I have cooked, and I have a cow.
Oh. Well, this works out kind of perfectly.
What do you have then, Rochelle?
I have a cow.
Ooh.
And some delicious pudding.
Ooh.
And a soybean.
Okay. Well, this is going to be interesting.
I also potentially brought a cotton, but then I was like, that's not going to go well for comparisons because cotton has different stats than other crops. So,
yeah.
Bring in my soybean.
Shall we do the soybean first then?
All right, let's do it. Round 1.
Cha-ching!
That sounded awful.
What was that?
A very sad attempt at a drum roll.
Okay.
I don't have anything to drum roll on. Soybeans!
Soybeans, woo!
All right, so do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
Tell you what, let's go through the 3 qualities, shall we? Or do you want to?
So for soybeans, there's 4 sort of indicators of value. You have the overall quality, which is 0 to 5 stars. I guess 1 to 5. I guess technically half to 5. I don't think you can have less than a half star quality. Anyway, 1 to 5 quality stars. Then you can have color, sweet, and juicy as 3 separate qualities on a 0 to 100% scale.
Yeah.
So this one's going to be a battle of the numbers. Who has the best in what categories?
Okay.
Tell me what you got.
So for color, I have 100%.
Mm-hmm.
For sweet, I have 100%.
Mm-hmm.
And for juicy, I have 100%, giving me a 5-star soybean.
I wish you could see my face right now.
Go on. Tell me.
Wow. Okay. I have color 100%. Juicy 100%. Sweet 22%. For a 4-star crop, you win.
Boom.
You were so convinced you weren't going to win.
Oh, well, I was convinced with that one that we were going to draw because I'm like, if I've got 100%, surely Rochelle's got 100% as well. But no. Yes.
Nope.
I'm very happy about that. 1-0 to me.
You did good.
Right.
I'm proud of you.
So I presume we both used the same tactics for that one.
Probably Probably similar. My tactic for the crops was to, grow a crop and dump a bunch of fertilizer on it.
Yeah.
I had, I would like kind of a long-term goal that I hit about near the end of summer, where I was trying to build a liquid fertilizer tank.
Yeah.
Because there's a fertilizer you can use that increases the quality of multiple stats at once.
See, I figured out that actually you didn't need to do that if you were going to go through the full year, especially if you could very quickly get soft field and double watering. You can do soybeans in 22 days. And if you combine that with the percentage increase from just normal fertilizer, you can actually, depending on how quickly you start with the soybeans, so obviously you have to unlock soybeans first, you can get to 100% within the year.
I am thoroughly impressed.
So I just completely ignored the liquid fertilizer. I was like, that is just a waste of my time right now.
Yeah, I did a lot of things. We'll talk about this at the end. I did a lot of things to fill time between waterings. Although, to be fair, near the end, I was kind of rushing. I was only doing one watering a day.
Once I figured out that I had the time to be able to do that, and that actually I could get it done really quickly and just do everything in the morning and then go to sleep. And then I would get finished quicker. And I had enough time for it to do it by the end of the year. Because obviously, if I hadn't done that, knowing my luck, it would have all matured on the 1st of January. The 1st of spring, sorry. But thankfully it didn't.
I feel that. I don't think I got soft fields until like fall. So I had a rough go of that, I think.
Yeah. I found that, so based on when I got the soybeans, my first crop of soybeans without the soft fields took me till nearly the end of summer. And so I was just working on making sure I could get the soft fields by then. The problem is soft fields, I initially got it wrong. I thought it was C on Lulucoco, but it's actually C on Suyukusa.
Suyukusa, yeah.
Which confused me. I was like, why can't I buy them? Oh wait, no, I used the wrong town. So that was fun. But.
I feel that where I think my first crop matured like a bit of a way into fall. Right. So I think I was just a little behind you.
Yeah,
so.
you struggle to get enough. You can do it, but you struggle to get two sets of crops in that time if you don't do it very early in fall, I guess.
Yeah. All right. 1 point Al, 0 Rochelle. Shall we move on to the next item?
Shall we do cow next?
Let's do food next, because then I have to run back to my cow.
Okay, let me just open my bag. So I guess this is just a simple 5-star rating, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You can go first this time.
I have a 5-star pudding.
As I'm very not surprised, I also have a 5-star cream croquette. Cream croquette.
Okay. What is the value? The price value?
3,108.
Well, fine. My little pudding's only worth 1,092.
Well, you know something really funny about this, right? So it nearly backfired on me doing this because the thing that I couldn't make myself up to this point was breadcrumbs. And by default, even if everything else is 5-star going in, if your breadcrumbs is only half a star, as it is when you buy from a shop, you max out at 4.5 stars on the cream croquette.
Yeah.
However, if you level up your cooking level, you can push that up to the 5 stars. So I must have spent 300 grand on milk just to make hot milk and sell it back.
Oh my gosh, that's so intense.
It was a lot of hot milk. That also helped me level up the towns as well, which was useful.
Yeah, for sure. I just spent time investing on really loving some cows and chickens. So to get my 5-star gold plus milk and eggs.
Cool.
2 points, Al.
Yay!
Who will you sweep the board? Who knows? Let's see with a cow.
Cool. So the cow has,
What breed?
I guess.
What breed of cow do you have?
What one's this one?
Just a regular one?
Just a regular one, but there were 3 different regular ones.
Yeah. What color is its hair?
It's got the yellow hair, or is it
Ooh.
orangey, yellowy? Yeah.
The blonde
Yellow hair.
one.
Sure. Blonde. Let's go with blonde. A blonde cow.
All right, tell me about your cow.
All right, so I guess we've got affection, byproduct amount, byproduct level, and coat.
Mm-hmm.
Are those the 4 things we're going by?
Yeah, we can also go by health, but I suspect your health will be
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. Health is happy. Come on, I look after my cows.
Mm-hmm.
I know what I'm doing. So my affection for the cow is 10 hearts. That's out of 10, obviously. The byproduct amount is 12. For those that aren't aware, that's out of 20. The coat is only C. And the byproduct level is E. I didn't do anything on the byproduct level.
Oh, interesting. So,
What about yours, Rochelle?
what's your cow's name?
You don't want to know my cow's name.
Okay. My cow's name is Chips.
My cow's name is Cow.
Oh. My cow's name is Chips, and Chips has big black spots and brown hair. I have 10 points, max affection,
Good, good.
byproduct amount of 1, which is the base.
Okay.
But then I have a byproduct level of S and a coat level of S.
Okay. I mean, I guess that means that I think you win this one, having 3 maxed things and 1 non.
I'll take it. My 1 point.
Woo. Yeah, I wanted to focus on byproduct amount because I wanted to make lots of money from as few animals as possible.
Yeah. Where I
'Cause
was
that
trying to
saves time.
I was trying to up the byproduct. I'm dying. It's fine.
Don't die.
I was trying to up the byproduct quality so that I could make a fancy recipe. And then it was super easy. Just toss some spicy fodder in there for the coat.
Yeah.
And by the end of the year,
Yeah,
it hit
I
S.
made the mistake of stopping spending money on spicy fodder. Because I initially forgot that we were bringing 3 things. So my poor cow just got regular fodder.
I'm so sorry, cow. I can't believe you named her cow.
Look, I don't name my Pokemon either. I have no imagination for these things. Look, my farm's name, right, is, and let me get the exact name. Where do I find that?
Go to your bookshelf. Do this because I also want to
All right,
compare
okay.
some unrelated things. But anyway, while you do that, I'm going to say, so the score is 2-1. Al officially wins the festival.
I'm excited about this.
I'm so proud. And you were so down on yourself this whole time. You were like, even in the show notes, you put, how do we decide by how much Rochelle wins? And you won. Stop selling yourself short.
I can win things. I mean, I'm sure it's got nothing to do with the fact that you lost your stuff.
No, I had pretty comparable stuff. So I think it would have shaken out just about the same.
So I'm just going through a cutscene that I hadn't gone through before. Right, here we are. Farm report. Oh yeah, so my farm name is, let's see if you can figure out why I gave it this name. CHLLNG.
Challenge.
Yep.
For a second, I was like, is that the name of some weird company?
Nope, it's literally challenge without the vowels because there weren't enough letters.
Because you can only use 6 characters for naming anything in this game.
Yep.
What was your name?
Apparently my name was Henry because I must have been not paying attention when going through the initial bit and just accepted whatever the default name was.
Good job, Henry, on Chulnge Farm.
It's like a Web 2.0 farm.
My name was THS Pod, and I was living on THS Farm.
Oh, I didn't think that through. Oh, that's clever.
Yeah, I'm pretty smart. Not smart enough to win a festival, but I'm pretty smart. While we're in this screen, I have a question for you.
Okay.
First of all, I want to see your earnings report.
Okay.
How much did you make and how much did you spend?
So I made 1,747,380.
Mm.
And I spent 926,820. Probably about half of that was on milk.
Probably.
Yeah. What about you?
Well, I made 3,202,597.
Oh my goodness.
But I also spent 2,020,357 of that.
What did you buy?
I bought a lot of general supplies, lots of fodder, lots of treats, lots of fertilizer, significantly more than I needed, because I was also spending to up my town ranks. So here's another thing. Pull up your town ranks.
Oh, here we go. Right. Okay. Yep. You're definitely going to win on this one.
All right.
Right.
What do you have?
They're all C. West Town is locked for B. That was never going to happen because it needs sweet potato, and I didn't save any sweet potato from fall. So sad times. Lulu Coco's about halfway through C to B, and Tsuyukusa's just past C.
Interesting. So I have my West Town locked at the B to A rank. So it's B rank locked going into A. I have Lulu Coco just barely a sliver away from the C to B lock. And I have Tsuyukusa locked at C to B.
Okay.
And
So overall you are further ahead, but Lulu Coco's pretty close together. Pretty close.
Yeah, I finished 2 farming tips and all but 2 tasks on farming tips 3.
I also did the first 2 farming tips, and I only did 2 of the farming tips 3. I did not do, obviously, the increased town link rank. I did not do the brands, and I did not earn Mr. D's respect.
Look at your life, look at your choices. Yeah. I did earn Mr. D's respect.
I'm not surprised with those. I presume then it would be the Harvest Festival.
I'm not sure if it was the last Harvest Festival or the last Animal Festival, to be honest.
I don't think you have enough animal festivals, do you? Because there are only 2 in a year.
There's one every month. Oh, isn't there one at the last month?
I think there are just 2, aren't there? Because the other we talked about this last time.
What do I look like? Someone who's memorized most of the calendar, but not this particular festival? It's fine.
Oh no, you're right. There is one every month. Okay, so obviously you can't do the first spring one, so you can do summer, fall, and winter. Okay,
yeah,
fair enough.
I have another question. Did you participate in all of the festivals?
No, I did not. No, I would. No, I wasn't wasting my time with those.
I participated in a lot of festivals.
I was single focused. I was like, I'm doing what I need to win this. I'm not wasting time on anything else. Because I can't spend 12 consecutive hours playing this game.
Yeah. I did like all the competitions just for funsies. I did a lot of the actual festivals because they just waste time. Like I could set a festival to auto-complete the text boxes and just run through and then like go get a snack or something. And then it would be like 8 hours later and I could water my crops again.
Yeah, I did those ones, but stuff like the Tri-Olympics I didn't do, and I didn't give anybody anything for the cultural festivals or anything like that.
I gave out nothing to anyone, but I did do like the Tri-Olympics and stuff. I think mostly because I just, at that point, I needed a break from like waking up and watering my crops. And but I think by the time I hit fall, I was rarely doing anything but rushing through the game again.
Yeah.
But I did somehow make friends. I think my highest I earned like my highest is 3.5 hearts with Frank.
My highest
and 3
is
hearts.
2.5 with Aluka.
Ooh.
Although I was definitely using her, I only wanted her food.
I feel. I saw a lot of Wayne's cutscenes. Turns out it's really easy to hit his cutscenes when, like, one of his early, like, romance cutscenes is you walking out of your house.
How dare you walk out your house?
I'm just like, he's like, hey, do you want to, like, have some milk and cookies? And I was like, no, I want to water my crops and go to bed. Wayne.
There were some days that I was literally just getting up, watering crops, milking my cow, getting my eggs, and going to bed, and I would be in bed by like 7:30 in the morning.
Yep, I had many, many of those days. So let's talk about strategies in general. Like, I think you asked me some questions when we were first starting this challenge about like why I didn't have rules for like what personality types you could use and stuff like that. So like, talk me through that. Talk me through what you were worried about, what you ended up doing, etc.
Yeah, so I guess the personality types is something that we obviously didn't have to consider in the Stardew challenge. And I hadn't thought about it until we went into it, and I was like, oh yeah, I have to think about this, which one would be best to do that. So I, obviously the reasons why you would do the different ones are the tycoon, you get more money to start with. The sports enthusiast, you get the extra stamina heart to start with. Fisher, you have higher rank on fish. Animal lover, you start with a heart. And charmer, you start with bonus friendship with everyone.
Which I'm sure neither of us picked because it's not relevant to our challenge.
Yeah, so I strike that one off first, obviously. I striked off the fisher because I was like, I'm not fishing. Go away. I striked off the tycoon because I thought, yeah, great, 50G is a lot more than 50,000G is a lot more than 4,000G. However, that's not going to be a big thing for very long.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is where I made the mistake, I think. Although it didn't, I still won. But if I was redoing it, I would probably change what I chose here. So I did go for Animal Lover. Now, the reason I went for Animal Lover was because I thought that would speed things up a little bit. The silly thing is, it's not hard to get an animal up to 10 hearts really quickly. So I really should have chosen Sports Enthusiast because that extra heart in early game is a massive difference.
Oh yeah, and that's what I ended up doing, and I knew I wanted to do that because it lets you do all of your things. You don't have to try and make friends with people to get food. You don't have to spend money on food. You just have the energy to do things from the beginning. I'm curious, how many hearts did you end up with at the end?
Let me just check. I ended up with 7.
And I ended up with 8, so...
What did you do for your 8th one? Did you get...
I was a sports enthusiast.
Oh,
so I just started with an extra heart.
Duh, we literally just said that. Yeah, so, I mean, realistically, neither of us were going to get married because it's just too much of an investment for such a short period of time. Yeah. You can do it in that time, but it's a lot of work. And
I didn't have time for that.
No, don't got time for love. I'm making crops.
3 million in the first year. Which is very easy to do, by the way. Which is why, because when you first brought the issue up to me, you were like, can't you just like do the one with the money? What's it called?
The tycoon. Or are you thinking miracle worker?
I was thinking both. Like, can't you just do tycoon? Can't you just do miracle worker and just have a ton of money from the start? And I was like, yes, you can, but you don't. Like, I don't think that's really relevant because, like, I know it's so easy to make money. Like, the vast majority of that money I actually made every day going and hitting the mines and just selling everything. Like, you can make so much money doing that, even if you're hitting your mining nodes every single day. Interesting.
So did you end up not really upgrading your tools at all then?
No, I mean, I upgraded my hammer to the point where I could hit all 4 mining nodes. But other than that, I didn't upgrade a single tool.
Interesting. See, I upgraded my hammer as much as I could. I didn't actually end up on the 4th mining node because for some reason I can't remember. There was something that just was not popping out of the mining nodes for me to get that. I upgraded the watering can. I think that ended up as a 3x2 with 4 out of 5 weight and capacity. And what was the other thing? I upgraded one of the other ones. Oh, I upgraded the axe just because there was no point in me doing this other than wasting time. I completely cleared my entire farm of everything. And so I was like, I'm going to upgrade my axe because it's so boring just hitting this tree 25 times or however many times it is.
I feel.
Yeah, so I went through that and I hardly sold any of the stuff from the mining.
I also, completely cleared my field. I never upgraded my axe because I had time to do it. If I ran out of energy, I went and ate at a restaurant 4 or 5 times a day until I could water my crops. That's one of the things I did to pass time. But yeah, selling money, most of the gems you get, which you can get at least 2 or 3 of them a day from the mining nodes, sell for 3,700, 4,500. It's a lot of money. It adds up really fast.
Yeah, especially early game.
Yeah. So there's a good tip for y'all playing but feeling like you're poor. Sell all that mining stuff. I did a lot of foraging, I think. Not quite as valuable, but fun. Good time wasting.
Yeah, I did a lot of that in spring and summer, but I stopped in fall and winter because it was such small numbers that I was like, I really can't be bothered. And by that point, I think I'd figured out that I didn't need to double water for the entire time. So, yeah. I guess my biggest issue with the personality types was the idea of being able to use Miracle Worker, which obviously neither of us did. But I felt like that would be a complete overpowered save. The other ones, I think, are all, fine. None of them is very definitely overpowered, although I do think that Sports Enthusiast is the right one for this challenge. But yeah, Miracle Worker, I think, would be over the top.
I honestly don't think it'd make that much of a difference. The only really relevant thing is you have your recipes, but recipes are cheap and easy to buy. You know what I mean? You have...
I get the thing I think is probably the biggest is the fact that you have your town link ranks, so you can immediately go and buy soft fields, for example.
Your town link ranks don't transfer.
Oh, don't they?
No.
Oh. All right. But you have a lot of money, so you can do that.
You have a lot of money, so you can get through them really fast. But honestly, I have played just a save file with the Miracle Worker personality, and between that and playing this, it doesn't make a terribly big difference. If you do all your mining, you're making money really fast. You can just spend it.
Fair enough.
It had about the same pace as the last time I played. So, but I definitely think Sports Enthusiast was the best choice.
Yeah, definitely.
Did anything go horribly? Did you learn anything new?
I don't think anything actually went horribly wrong for me this time.
No, just me? Just me? Okay.
just you. I made a few wrong decisions, and I quite liked once I figured it out, my soybean, and obviously you came up with the same idea with soybeans because the advantage of soybeans is they go in every season, so you can keep doing the same thing all through the year, because I don't think without that you couldn't get anywhere near 100%.
No.
On a single one in one season.
Yeah, in a lot of seasons I did, especially the really fast growing crops. I did grow a few just to see how far I could get. I don't think I got anything past 50% anything. No. I did also do the same thing with wheat and cotton, because those are also every season crops. And my wheat ended up literally 2 percentage points behind my soybeans. And my cotton was 100% 5-star crop, but the only quality it has is color, so that's pretty easy to do.
Yeah, it was, I did soybeans as soon as I could, even though it would take a lot longer to go, because actually that didn't really matter and actually meant that I could get a much higher ranking soybean without the seed maker to start with. Because you have, if you just double water it, you have nearly a month, I think, no, slightly over a month. Yeah, over a month between planting a soybean and reaping it. And because obviously I didn't care about the money coming out of them, because let's be honest, they're not very lucrative anyway. And so I was using things like tomatoes and stuff like that to make up lots of money, and mainly my cream croquettes once I bought that. Because they make a lot of money once you've got once you can make them, assuming you have a 10 heart cow and chicken, you're getting nearly $3,000 a cream croquette. And I had 12, I was making 12 cream croquettes every day. So that's a lot of money very quick.
That is wild.
Every day. So I didn't really care about the money from the soybeans. So obviously going through the first one as a really long one didn't disadvantage me at all.
Yeah.
But doing the two shorter ones then once you get soft field does advantage you, because you do end up getting a combined length longer, because you can't do two after summer without the soft fields, and one is shorter than two shorter ones, if that makes sense. So you end up with combined more time doing two short ones. I do think that I only managed to get it by 100% by like 2 days, because obviously it tells you that you're at 100% because it says you can't fertilize it with that one anymore. And I hit that, I think literally 2 days later, the soybeans were ready to harvest.
Well, what it was actually, I think part of the reason I was so late with the soybeans is I initially planned on doing that, but with wheat. And I didn't get to the soybeans until later. So I ended up switching a little bit from wheat to soybeans, and I think that really wrecked me. So, final call. We had very similar strategies. I made a lot of money, but I still lost, proving that money isn't everything.
Well, and I would have definitely had different tactics had we been making money. You know, that's there were a lot of things I would have done differently. That was not about making money. It's interesting to see the difference as well. I know they're completely different games and completely different tactics, but just to see the massive difference in how much money we made in this one compared to the Stardew mining one, it's just really interesting. Especially as most of your money was made from mining itself. That's very interesting.
So congratulations on winning.
Woo! We're 1-1 on the challenges.
1-1. We'll have to have a tiebreaker not next episode. Please, not next episode. Next game.
No.
We cover.
No, definitely not next episode.
I'm giving myself a heart attack.
We have too many episodes planned in the near future to do that. We need as little planning as possible for next episode.
Congratulations. I'm very proud of you. Where can people find you to give you congratulations themselves?
Well, they can find me on Twitter at @TheScottBot. That's Scott with 1 T.
If they want to make fun of me for losing, they can find me at Miss Delaney with 2 L's on Twitter. They could also email us from the website, which is harvestseason.club. I don't know why I had to think about that for a second.
Which is now working again.
We had some
little bit of an issue.
Some email issues. So if you emailed and then we never said you emailed, that's probably why. Please send it again. I'm very sorry. I really love your emails. Please send more. Or you can tweet us at THSPod.
Tell us what you did in the challenge if you did the challenge.
Please do. Please tell me how you did in the challenge, what you brought, whether or not you beat Al, how many Wayne cutscenes you saw.
I think I only saw 2.
I saw 2 or 3. Ugh.
He's easy to please.
Wayne is fine. Wayne's a good character. I think I said before, he's like a sleeper favorite of mine. Like I expected to really hate him, and I actually ended up really liking him. So this is not the Wayne podcast. We're ending. Until next time, have a good harvest. Woo!
The Harvest Season is created by Rochelle Delaney and Al McKinley. Our art is done by Micah the Brave, and our music is done by Nick Burgess. Feel free to visit our website, theharvestseason.club, for show notes, including links to things we discussed and transcripts for every episode. Thanks for listening.
And if you want to hear a tale of my I can talk. I have a mouth and a tongue that billions of years of evolution have created so that I could be bad at talking into a microphone. This has been Song Time with Rochelle.